What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition, another episode. That's right, Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio, C2C radio show is live. I'm Stan Grubb. My tag team partner, Brian Taylor, is with me.
What's up?
What's up, sir? How are you?
I'm ready to spoil some shit.
Yeah, fresh off of the premiere week of The Flash. And, dude, we got shit ton of stuff to talk about with that. AEW Collision was this past Saturday. CMFTR against the Bullet Club and Samoa Joe was the main event. Can't wait to talk about that. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Might as well just dive right into it. Dude, The Flash. What a movie, man. I know that there's a lot of people, a lot of critics out there that were like, oh, you know, it could have done this, could have done that. And, yeah, I agree. You could have made some improvements. Not a big fan of the Ezra Miller guy either, you know, the lead. But honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. I see where some fans said there was a whole lot of fan service, you know, for all of the different things that they did and all the cameos and all the different pivot points they made. But I really liked this movie. I had a lot of fun with it.
I guess DC Marvel fans are every bit as polarizing as, wrestling fans in different companies. I mean, did we hear this during Ant-Man, the last Ant-Man, which I thought was abysmal? Did we hear during the first Ant-Man, which was abysmal? You know, the Captain Marvel. You know, do we hear this, you know, when Marvel puts out a crappy movie? No, we don't. You know? So I thought it was a great movie. Again, I'm not an Ezra Miller fan, but if you had swapped him for, what's his name, Grant
Gustin, yeah.
Yeah, then it would have been absolutely perfect. You know, there wouldn't have been a better comic movie ever, and so which is crazy to think that you know, that would have made that much of a difference. But so forget the fan service. I mean, that's what DC does. They have multiple universes, and they finally decided, well, let's just tie everything together, and that's absolutely perfect. You know?
Yeah, I mean, this was their first true attempt at a pretty much comic true story as far as Flashpoint. Yeah, there's some changes. I mean, they're going to take creative liberties, and you kind of expect that they would, but I felt like their attempt at Flashpoint was pretty solid. I felt like it told a pretty good story.
I don't know if I'd call it. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like a flashpoint, but to me, it was more, especially at the end, was more of almost like a crisis point. With having the planets and everything colliding, or almost colliding. But again, there is that. I don't even know what you call the villain, Red Death or whatever in the comics, maybe. So, I mean, I thought it was good. Do I think they should have had a better actor or a different actor? Yeah. I don't know what it is, though. I don't know if it's his criminal past or the allegations or whatever.
I feel like he just forces the humor. I don't think he's a funny actor. I don't think he really has an understanding of how to really approach, you know, a moment that's supposed to be like awkward and funny at the same time. It just seems forced when he does it. And that's probably my biggest complaint, was like those moments where you knew, and literally it could have been Grant Gustin, it could have been John Wesley Shipp, or they could have cast someone completely different. And I feel like they would have had a better understanding as to how to approach that. If you really want to know how the Flash handles things, if you're really trying to make it easy on the person playing the role, just watch the animated series. That, to me, the Justice League animated series, Justice League Unlimited, that is what I imagine Barry Allen is to be, especially the younger Flash. Like, you got a lot more of the serious and the detective kind of thing with Flash in the DC animated universe, where like the Flashpoint paradox was attempted animated wise. But I mean, if you're going for the comedic, if you're going for the quippy kind of thing, I just feel like someone should have sat Miller down in a room and just said, "You're going to watch this for like days. Just binge watch this series."
Well, so what's weird, or kind of weird about the Flash, it really depends on what version you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So, because like in the comics, he's a little bit more serious,
Mm-hmm.
and then he is kind of. There are Justice League, the cartoons that are kind of where he's a little bit more comical type stuff. In the comics, again, he's a what do you call it, criminologist or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
deals with evidence and stuff like that. And he's a hell of a detective. I mean, he's almost as good as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman's actually invited him in on cases because he's so good. I just don't get that off of Ezra.
No, I feel like he didn't have, and even during Justice League, he just didn't seem like he had a solid understanding of the role. And you can see it because he's trying so hard to like force the audience into the humor thing, and that's not panning out. And the emotional stuff, like where he's crying about his mom. I mean, if you didn't know any of the backstory of the Flash, you'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
why is this guy so freaking upset? Like, you get the obvious, but after that, it's just like, it's a little forced.
Mm, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of them.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, how could you not like seeing Keaton back? Um, how could you not like seeing, it almost I guess in the commercial, his hair looked more blonde in that one scene,
Mhm.
but then in the movie, you can tell it's gray. I wasn't, on the trailer, I wasn't a fan of the blonde haired Batman, but I'm okay with him being gray.
Now, did you happen to notice the report that's out there about the multiple endings that were filmed?
No, I haven't seen anything on that.
So there is a report, and I want to say it was from maybe Variety, and
Mm-hmm.
apparently Warner Discovery was responsible for two different endings, and then before the merger with Warner Brothers and Discovery, before that happened, there was an ending that happened as well. So the first ending was supposed to be really closer to the comic, where he actually goes back to Batman in the cave and delivers a letter.
Mm-hmm.
The second ending was supposed to be,
Wait, which Batman?
At that point it's still Keaton. The
What's the
second
left?
ending is still Keaton, but it's Supergirl's there as well, and so is Henry Cavill. So it was Supergirl, Henry Cavill, Superman, Keaton's there, and Wonder Woman is supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But when the merger starts to get finalized, and there's a few different issues as far as like getting the editing done. Apparently, James Gunn was concerned that it would confuse the audience and make them feel like there was a promise of something they couldn't deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ending that we got is the third one.
So what was the second one?
So the second one was supposed to be at just outside the courtroom, just outside the courthouse, and Barry's there, and you got Supergirl there. Henry Cavill's supposed to be there, as well as Wonder Woman and Michael Keaton's Batman. Like, it's basically the Justice League in support of Barry in plain clothes kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then of course there's the ending we got, which I don't know how many fans will do what I did, but I laughed really loud when the phone rings and he swipes it and he answers the call and he sees it's Bruce, and at first you're like, oh, okay, and you figure they're going back to Affleck because it sounded like him at first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man. And yes, before any of our wonderful listeners here in the first 17-ish minutes of our show, before you freak out, spoilers ahead, turn it down or pause it and come back when you've finished. So we get to the call, and he answers it. And of course, again, I'm thinking it's Affleck, and I'm like, okay, cool. They go back to Affleck. That's kind of their neat little bow that they're putting on the DCEU. But no, it actually turns out to be George Clooney as Batman. First off, I thought that George Clooney could have been a better Batman. I don't think he was given a very good production around him when he was playing Batman, plus the whole eerie, weird suit that he had. But it was just one of those moments where so many people complained about the Schumacher Batmans that it cracked me up that Clooney's the one that steps out of the car and he's looking at Barry like, what the hell's wrong with you, Barry? I loved that. It was great. I was laughing my ass off.
So I'll say that I laughed myself, but I think Clooney is probably the worst for me.
Oh, wow.
And I rank him as low as Bale.
Wow.
Bale was, to me, is too forced, right?
Yeah.
You never heard Michael Keaton. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You never heard Clooney. You never heard Kilmer. Nobody else. Adam West. The whole 9 yards. Affleck. None of them. Right? In the cartoon, you never hear him like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Never. I get you got to disguise your voice and all that crap, but God, not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Although I was expecting him, I was not expecting Clooney. I was expecting Bale.
Well, and they show a scene in the preview where you see the Bat Pod, right? And part of me was like, oh, that's got to be Bale. Because you don't get a good view of if it's Affleck or not. So I was like, oh, cool, they got Christian Bale here. That's neat. And it would have been awesome. But, it turns out that... and Clooney was a last-minute thing. Apparently, one of the folks on set just happened to know Clooney's agent, gave him a call, and said, hey, we're kind of in a pinch for a twist on an ending. Can you help us out? And he was thrilled. He didn't expect that they would ever ask him to do it, but he was thrilled to go back and reprise the role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I thought it was a definitely interesting twist, but I think if I'm going to twist it, I would have used Bale, because to me, Bale is closer to Affleck's age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas Clooney is basically an antique Batman.
Well, yeah. It was interesting because Michael Keaton's 70 years old,
right?
And watching him as Batman, man, you're right back in 1989. Watching it like for the first time, it was the coolest stuff.
Yeah, and to me, the other thing about like Keaton, like you just saw him whoop ass, and he doesn't look as old as Clooney, right? Clooney to me looked old as dirt.
Yeah, he really did.
And, I get that it's ending. I get that, we're moving on, but I mean, you still could have set up something because, again, DC has never really shied away from having so many different universes and in the comics. And then finally, last year with the Crisis event on TV, they embraced it in the movies, which they should have been doing all along. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, there were certainly some missed opportunities with what they could have done. I mean, we could have had, like, I was surprised that Brandon Routh didn't have a cameo in the Superman sequences.
Mm.
I mean, I still really enjoyed his role as Superman. No, the movie plot wasn't great, and they didn't do a real great job of providing him a real enemy. Although Lex Luthor was pretty damn sinister, if you ask me.
Well, but so, like, if they switched Batman, why can't they switch Superman?
Yeah.
For Aquaman.
So that was weird. Did you notice in the post credit scene that when Barry's talking to Aquaman, that Aquaman has 3 different outfits on?
No.
So
Would you mean like a yuppie suit or something?
So yeah, I have a theory on this. So Barry was traveling through time at multiple points throughout the movie, right? And the end sequence is, him and his younger self darting through time trying to change it. Well, I think that at different points in time or after everything had happened, Barry tries to go back for something else. Maybe he's trying to figure out, what happened to his Batman or whatever. But each time he finds Aquaman, it's the same person. So I feel like what their goal was, certain characters are the same no matter what. Other characters are fluid on purpose because they couldn't deliver and say, yeah, we're going to bring Cavill back and all of that stuff by the end of it.
So again, if you listen to what the conversation, I mean, he even, what's his name? Aquaman even tells you. So you're telling me I don't change.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And I think, I would imagine, again, that's telling you there's a change coming.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman. Right? So because we don't really have the details, but supposedly from the way I understand it, is Aquaman's it. Right? Done with this. I don't even know what you want to call this version. Snyderverse, whatever. So if Aquaman's it, then there has to be something, again, I'm going with my whole crisis theory here, that's going to change it. Right? So we're going to go from, we're going to almost kind of flashpoint it. But I think because he did, if you're going to call it Flashpoint, it's going to screw everything up. You know what I'm saying? Like more than Clooney. So you're probably going to get a different Superman. And they may very well be trying to save the universe. Not, again, even though we know it's going to end. And you may wind up getting, you may get, again, if based off of my theory, which is my theory alone, if you get a crisis point, then you're going to get a whole bunch of different superheroes from different times. And, you may very well just get everybody. Because while the Avengers, like Endgame and all, not Endgame. What was the one before that?
Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity Wars, where they brought a whole bunch of people back. I think DC is probably going to try and one-up them and bring in as many as possible for this. and then they'll totally destroy it.
we that's probably true. We haven't gotten a full view of what James Gunn's DC vision is. Like we've seen what he's advertised, what movies he's making and all of that, but we haven't gotten a full movie yet under his direction.
No.
With his influence on the Flash, do you think that this is an indication that it's in the right direction, or do you think this just wasn't enough?
So again, they're doing what Marvel is doing, but DC should have been doing it all along.
Right.
Right. So DC is going to tie in cartoons. Marvel tied in cartoons. DC has come out and said, "Look, we have all these different worlds, and we're gonna, we want a African American Superman, and we're gonna do an African American Superman. We want, whatever. That's what we're gonna do, as long as the story is what we want to tell." And you have to understand that we are infinite Earths, and I think they actually even say that in there somewhere, that there's infinite Earths. I think towards the end, one of them's, I'm pretty sure one of them says infinite Earths. One of the berries or the villain or something. One of them says infinite Earths. So they're telling you right now, we're going to tell stories, and they don't have to match. And you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, well, you've been doing with Batman this whole time, but you didn't explain it, right? You just expected everybody to be like, oh, okay, Christian Bale Batman this year, and then we got Robert Pattinson, and you see what I'm saying? So I'm glad they did it, but I can't wait to see what Gunn has. I think he's leading it off with Creature Commandos. Are you out your mind? A cartoon?
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that either. Like, to me, if you're trying to start a reboot and you're trying to get a universe off the ground, going from the obscure, you know who the Creature Commandos are, but I had to ask you, like, who the hell are these guys? Like, I didn't know who they were. And half of his slate is like that. Like, although Blue Beetle looks very cool, I am looking forward to that movie.
Yeah, but again, that's under the current universe.
So, that's not part of James Gunn's.
Nope.
Wow.
Aquaman is the final film.
Jeez,
After Aquaman,
so we've got those two still.
Yep.
And then we got Joker 2, and we got the Batman movie, the sequel to Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing about the Joker is because we know it's an alternate universe because the thing with Batman. So same thing with Pattinson. That's like an alternate universe.
Right.
So even though it's technically before Gunn, it falls in line with what Gunn is doing.
Well, we've got the Lantern show coming out on Max.
I don't remember if that's Gunn or not. That's got to be Gunn because Gunn's got everything now. Well, almost now. So he will be in charge of it all.
I mean, it's interesting to see the things that he's chosen to keep, and I wonder if there was an edict from DC before all this stuff started of what they didn't want to see rebooted right
away. Well, he's not doing anything. How do I put this? So it's not going to take an edict from DC, right? Marvel has, 3 big names: Spidey, Captain America, and Iron Man. right? You got to have them in there. DC's has their own Trinity. You know, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to build a universe around them. And that's just the way it is. I don't.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
there he
Can you
is.
hear me? Oh, okay, sorry. I think that's just the way it is. You know, I don't think you need DC to or Warner Brothers to be like, you got to have this, you got to do this. I think Gunn is probably like, no, I want to do this, and you know, I want to build my vision of this, and um, I think Gunn's probably going to try and get back at Marvel for doing what Marvel did.
They definitely did him
You know,
dirty.
for oh yeah, so I mean, he took the goddamn Guardians of the Galaxy and made them in this, you know, such a great movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen Guardians 3 yet. Ultimately, I will eventually. I'll probably end up seeing it just when it starts to stream. Um, I did see Across the Multiverse. I really liked that. I really enjoyed it.
The Ant-Man one?
No, I did watch Quantum
Oh,
Mania.
oh,
But
okay.
I was
Which
talking
one
about the
was?
Spider-Man one,
Oh, yeah,
Across
yeah.
the Spider-Verse, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, you mentioned the Ant-Man movie. I didn't hate it. I mean, there's movies in the MCU that I hated more. Like I didn't like Captain Marvel at all. I could do
Mm-hmm.
without Brie Larson overall. Period. Like she's just not. She just doesn't do it for me. As a matter of fact, on that same vein, I really liked the Disney Plus Miss Marvel show, and I would
Mm-hmm.
have been much more happy with Kamala Khan. I think that'd have been a lot more fun in a movie. Uh,
Well, you know, the bad part is she did in the comics.
she what?
Camilla Khan is dead in the comics
Oh, that's right.
until
Yeah,
they
that
bring
just
her back.
happened recently, didn't it?
Yeah, until they bring her back, of course. But
Right, because that's what Marvel
yeah,
does.
yeah, because that's what we do.
At least in DC, if they killed somebody, at least they give it a year. They're like, we don't want you
Nah,
to
no, no.
feel this loss.
Well, no, I guess maybe they don't quite give it a year. They may tell a story for a year for them to come back, but
Right.
you know, they do come back. So,
I mean, one of my favorite series from DC is Final Crisis. The whole 9 yards. I mean, we're talking, you know, Superman has to finally resort to some crazy tactics against Darkseid. Everybody is turning. It's complete chaos, and then of course it ends with Batman supposedly dying after he finally breaks his oath and uses a gun and kills Darkseid. So like that whole story arc from seeing him at that point killed to, you know, the road home where he travels through time, it was awesome. Like that whole story arc was great. I would love to see that on a movie.
uh, over like it would have to be like so. Gunn, I think, is set up 20 some plus projects,
Mhm.
right, for the first phase, right? Gods and I think it's Gods and Monsters
Mhm.
is what it's called. So you would have to have something like that done at you know 24
Yeah.
or you know you know what I'm saying, like it would be so far along into the story. I mean, unless you just jump straight out the gate with something nobody saw coming, you know what I'm saying, to get you that point, and then maybe just in trailer scenes or cut or post credit scenes you did that, you know, just you know, Batman's journey home or something. But
Right, right.
yeah, I think you would legit like you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it at one or two. You know what I'm saying? You would have to wait so far into it. that by then you'd probably be like, nah, I don't think this sounds good anymore.
I mean, I've always wondered why the hesitation, because Marvel jumped full head in. They're like, yep, head first, not feet first, head first. We're diving in, and they went straight into a major story like the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, yeah, it was a few years to lay it out, but they set the scene pretty quickly. DC never
Uh,
does that.
I'm gonna have to beg to differ with you there. So they laid the groundwork for the Avengers first
Hmm.
before Infinity really came along. And then after Avengers, that's when you get the Infinity. Because
Yeah.
by then, I think at first, I mean, it took them a while to be like, no, we're going to do something. We're going to do something really crazy. You want to see what we do now? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, again, you had the Hulks. What, I think two or three of the first Hulks didn't account for much, even though I seem to recall, and there was a scene in one of them where Tony Stark
Yeah. Ed Norton's Hulk
and
movie.
and Nick Fury show up, but I
Hmm.
cannot find that scene. And yeah, it's just I don't I don't understand why DC didn't jump on this to begin with either. But I think now they've learned the lesson.
Yeah. I still think they screwed Henry Cavill. I feel like he was a great Superman and Clark Kent. Um, Man of Steel was a tremendous movie. I I've seen the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman versus the one we saw in the theater, and while I still have some points that I don't like about that, I thought that was really good still. I feel like they just didn't do any justice to these characters that you really just built nicely. Like you could, I think I would have rather seen a Batman movie with Ben Affleck first before Batman v Superman.
Well, but again, though, that was the DC taking the chance.
Yeah.
Right, that was DC's like, oh, wait a second, no, we may not be able to pull this off like Marvel, but we understand Marvel's concept now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And who where did Snyder come along in all this? Did he do
Man of Steel.
Superman? Yeah. So that's Snyder probably convinced them. No, we got to do it this way. We got to do what they're doing.
Right.
And Warner Brothers kind of half-assed it. What Warner Brothers didn't anticipate was the backlash from the average fan who doesn't know comics. And by that, I mean, what is Man of Steel and Batman Superman,
Mhm.
or, whatever. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more grittier um, than what people were probably expecting. Right? Holy shit, Superman broke Zod's neck. Are you kidding me? Right? Oh, Batman picks up a fucking machine gun and
Right. Kills that one dude.
yeah. And again, what this is what's crazy because the way that an average person who doesn't even know the content, right? I mean, I know who Superman is. I know who Batman is, right? Well, they don't do this, right? And
Right.
they can influence so much when you know you can go back and look. Go and drop down $10 for DC Infinity or whatever that app is, and just start reading through your Batman comics. And I don't think it takes him probably 5 episodes before he shoots his first person.
Mhm.
And I don't remember if they say he kills him, but it doesn't take long for him to bust down a gun
Mhm.
and shoot a guy.
Stab stabs the one dude in the chest with a knife in the one fight scene.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't take long for that to happen in the comics. Now, granted, that's what, in the 30s or whatever, 40s, whatever, whenever it came out. But like, that's DC.
Hmm.
DC legit kills off their entire, like, everybody every so often. No, no, no. Let's change this up. Let's do something crazy. Dun, dun, crisis! Yay! That's how DC is.
I'd still like to see the Forever Evil storyline on a movie.
Well, again, I think DC or Warner Brothers listened to people they shouldn't have listened to. Because again, just like wrestling, there's two sides. Oh, Marvel is so good, and then you have some that DC is good, and the guys that say DC is good kind of understand more by the background for a DC film than somebody from Marvel who doesn't read DC, right? It's kind of like WWE, AEW, Impact, whatever.
Hmm.
If you read the product and that's all you read is DC Comics, well, that's what you want. You want a darker, grittier. I mean, Peacemaker, for crying out loud,
Hmm.
was absolutely great, But oh my lord, anybody want to tell me what Marvel show had that much killing in it outside of a cartoon?
Outside of Deadpool, I mean, Deadpool's the only thing that rivals that, and certainly not even in the gory way that Peacemaker did it
Yeah,
every single episode.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, but I don't know when this thing kicks off. 2024, I think, is when the first cartoon comes out.
Hmm.
Um, so I just can't wait till they just blow it all up. It's like I said, I expected the end credit scene of Flash, everything to go white, whereas I think we're probably going to get that at Aquaman. Then you're not going to see it coming. It's just going to be an end credit, and you know, maybe Flash gets involved and screws up things. Maybe they go back and try and fix Bruce Wayne or something, and then maybe that's where Christian Bale comes into play because they screw it up again, and because he screwed up the timeline and everything. Then the end credit scene, he tries to take off running, and he can't escape it. So I don't know. It'll be interesting though.
I feel like what they accomplished really well was, their homage they did to all of the different, very popular iterations of characters, like obviously the Adam West Batman. There's a spot there. There's Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater, Superman and Supergirl. That was really cool.
Now, so let me ask you, right? Because I don't remember, right? Maybe I just got a little shocked. I haven't gone back and watched Supergirl, but do they even mention Superman and Supergirl? Do you remember?
So you mean in the
In the
movie
movie,
itself?
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Helen
they
Slater
talk quite
movie.
a bit about Superman and Clark Kent is Superman, and like Barry is explaining
No, no,
to.
no, no, no. I'm talking about in the Helen Slater Supergirl movie.
Oh,
Do you remember if there's like any
oh man,
mention, like there,
they
like because for me this is like, oh, they finally connected the two, right? So now she's in with the Christopher Reeves Superman.
I think the only thing they do is they hint, like they say her cousin or my cousin, is what she says during a part of the movie, but you don't ever see like Jimmy Olsen,
Christopher Reeves.
right? But you never
Mm-hmm.
see Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah, because I, for the life of me, when I saw it, I was like, or you see Christopher Reeves, and it's like, oh wow, that's cool, and then you see her like come up behind him or down behind him, whatever it is, and you're like, oh wait a second, well now that makes a lot of sense, and then you're like, well wait a second, do they even mention each other? Like, did I miss a scene where they're both in the same movie or something?
Well,
So.
having seen multiple times over all of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, he never mentions Kara at all, ever.
Right.
There's never a scene where he mentions his cousin.
Right.
And
And
Hell
see,
Years
that's
Later,
where I was wondering if it's in the Supergirl movie, if they mention each other.
it's very brief in passing, but I don't think the word Superman ever really comes up. I think it's more like, oh, and my cousin in Metropolis kind of thing. That's about
Mm.
it.
Uh, hmm. Well, who made them stupid movies? Did Warner Brothers have something to do with them too?
um,
Have they been screwing the pooch that long?
that would crack me up. Let me look that up. That's a good question. Who made Supergirl?
Yeah, because I mean, I actually have it on Vudu. I haven't watched it since I bought it, but um, that's just crazy that if Warner Brothers has been screwing it up that long.
That was TriStar Pictures.
All right, yeah, but who owns TriStar?
Da, da, da. TriStar Pictures, formerly Nova Pictures, and now Sony Pictures.
Oh, Sony. Wow. But back then, different time, different place. So,
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm-mm. All right. So I guess Warner Brothers did a great thing then by finally connecting the two.
And fresh from his viewing experience, we got Rob Hefner here with us. Rob, what's up, man?
What's happening, fellers?
What was your thoughts? You just saw it, literally just finished viewing The Flash. We've been throwing spoilers out left and right, so have no fear, sir. What were your thoughts on The Flash?
Honestly,
Nope, I want you
I
to lie.
didn't think it was too bad. I mean, there were certain graphic scenes that I'm like, okay, that could have been done better, but like, and then I'm not a big Ezra Miller fan, but I thought it was kind of cool how they, connected all like the all the universes, so to speak. Some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was neat how they acknowledged the whole Nick Cage is could have been Superman.
And the big freaking spider.
I'm glad that we didn't have that movie if we would have had to watch him battle a big freaking spider. But you all.
Well, I mean, we just spent 45 minutes on it. So,
I mean, I liked the spin on Supergirl. Like how they just turned her into like a badass. I mean, even though she's not she's a badass normally, but why they picked that point, like Zod coming back, like, but I mean, it was more nostalgia for me. Like, I like the whole, like, the cross of the dimensions, you had multiple Batmen, you had multiple Supermen, like, that was cool. Could the plot have a little bit more thicker thing? Did we not learn from Flashpoint?
What was your favorite cameo?
Oh, Michael Keaton.
I mean, Keaton kind of co-stars in it. I'm talking more along the lines of some of the random appearances that they had.
I like the nod to I like the nod to Christopher Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
And they even threw in that Supergirl. Like, that Supergirl has gotten zero play anywhere. Like, they've even, to me, DC's forgotten she exists in the timeline.
Did you have a least favorite cameo?
Ezra Miller?
Yeah, I think we all could have did without him. He just didn't seem to fit the role. You mentioned something interesting. The graphic, the CGI in this movie was horrible. Just horrible. Who is in charge of that with this realm of DC?
Well, yeah, but so what part CGI are you talking about? Christopher Reeves?
No, not that. What I'm talking about is like the different scenes where you can see like Ezra Miller's face distorting when he's talking and all of those other pieces. I'm not talking about the cameos because like the Nick Cage parts and the Christopher Reeve part. There's no new source material to use, so you've only got what you got.
I mean, I was like the way that he had him running.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I feel like they do a better job of Flash on TV running than they did him. You know, like when they have him running and he's kind of just like prancing along.
Yeah, I have to admit. I mean, like the scenes where they show him running, the opening scene where he's taking off for Gotham.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he's going in slow motion.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like he's just out for a Sunday stroll.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. And, I mean, I thought it was kind of campy when he's like, you know, how did he heat up the burrito in the microwave that wasn't plugged into anything?
I'm surprised we haven't actually heard any, random ass complaints about the baby in the microwave.
Right. Like,
well, I think the burrito in the microwave was probably already cooking when you know what I'm saying? Like when the microwave come out, it was probably already done or something. Ain't nobody worried about no baby though.
You heard it here first, folks. Brian says, "Fuck them kids."
Yeah, fuck them babies. They're all computer generated anyway.
Yeah.
They're not real. Although
they didn't really push a baby and a dog out of a.
Although we did whine about CGI animals getting hurt in
did
fucking Guardians. About that? Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Have you don't want to see animals get hurt? Don't go watch Guardians.
Oh, come on.
You realize they're CGI, right? It doesn't matter. They're still animals. Get out of here.
It's the same person that complained that Luke cut open that whatever thing is. Star Wars.
Wait, somebody cut open that Banta?
Oh.
Wow. So overall, Brian and I have pretty thoroughly gone through all of the spoilers that were cool. What did you think? What did you think of the ending where Bruce Wayne is not who we think he is?
Of all the Bruce Waynes, did you pick? It's the one that was utterly stupid. Like, I was expecting it to be, what's his name? From The Dark Knight.
Christian Bale.
Bale.
Yeah. To me, that would have been cool. But you picked the laughing stock of the Batman franchise. The only thing that would have made that even more campier is if, like, Chris O'Donnell would have hopped out of the other side of the car. Hey, man, who the hell are you?
Chris O'Donnell is pretty old too now, so that'd have been something.
He's on CSI. He got it. No, NCIS.
Well, with all the different DC shows coming to an end, Gotham Knights was canceled off of CW. Flash is done, so the Arrowverse is officially done. Titans is done. I don't know if Doom Patrol's done yet, but the last thing I read said that it was most likely done. I mean, we're getting ready to dive into the new uncharted waters with Creature Commandos. We got the Lanterns show, which is supposedly still coming to Max. And then, of course, we got the Blue Beetle, which is supposed to still be part of James Gunn's vision, but Aquaman is not. So Aquaman 2 and Blue Beetle are supposed to be officially, though, be the end of the DCEU as we knew it.
How would that
Does
be
it?
like? Go ahead.
Does it say somewhere that Beetle was Gunn?
James Gunn did.
Because so again, from what I understand, his starts with Creature Commandos. Now maybe he's okayed it, but that's not his. That's not part of his universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's what's the other guy's name? Peter Safran, the other guy in charge. He's on as a producer for Blue Beetle.
Make that money. Making money.
That's all about. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Christian's already said when we saw it, he's like, "We're coming to see Blue Beetle."
I think that's going to be a pretty good movie. I mean, all the previews look pretty cool anyway.
So basically, it just sets in course all of superhero things. Like you see something that's weird, and we touch it, and then that's how like, like how many superheroes get their powers because they're either nosy, they're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, so I'm curious on the trailer how they get the second Blue Beetle's ship, the Ted Cord Blue Beetle. Because when they show the bug, I think that's what they call it. The big flying thing that looks like a bug.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show, I don't know what George Lopez, I think it is. I don't know what his character's name is yet. So he's working in the room, and I think they show the bug again. That's the Ted Cord Blue Beetle. So I'm curious how they tie all that in together.
That one's got an interesting cast. I mean, it's got Susan Sarandon in it as Victoria Cord. George Lopez plays Jaime's uncle. You got the kid who starred in Cobra Kai, of course, who's playing Jaime Reyes. And the bad guy is, am I reading this right? Carapax, the Indestructible Man? I got no idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about this Blue Beetle.
Yeah. I mean, just think about the kid from Cobra Kai, like, all right, you're going to be the Blue Beetle. And you're thinking in your head, all right, this has got me. I'm going to be good to go. I'm going to have several movies. It's going to be amazing. And then you hear, oh, yeah, we're restarting everything.
Yeah.
Like, well, mother.
A good example of that, January of 23, James Gunn said the film would be disconnected from the previous DCEU's entries and could be made part of the new franchise. Then in April, he said it was going to be incorporated entirely into the new DCU, and then he said it was going to be the first DCU character, while Superman Legacy, that's supposed to be in 2025, is the first official DCU film. Jeez, 2025. Good Lord.
Yeah, but they have other stuff next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I remember reading an article on Jeremy Renner when he signed his big thing with Marvel to do all the Avengers movies and everything. Like as soon as it started, he it became this big thing that he was going to court for child support. And then he spun it. He goes, well, he's going to court for child support. He's like, because while I'm making all this money, why shouldn't my kids reap the benefit of it? He's like, I know it's not going to last forever. I'm like, dang. But then you think about it now. Is he going to, he's not going to be Hawkeye.
What is the status of the Hawkeye series? Is that done? Like, are they not making another season of it?
Mm. You got twinkle fingers. Look it up.
I think it was a one-off. I mean,
Stan got twinkle fingers. Look it up on.
Googling it right now.
Yeah. CageMatch.com. See what that says.
A new season. CageMatch.net. Now everybody uses CageMatch.net, by the way. Literally all these podcasts that I listen to, like Bischoff's one, Nash's, a bunch of the people on Fightful use it. It's crazy because we got all blown up by Ethan Page for using it one time. Jeez. See, we started a trend. Bastards. Let's see here. As of June 14, 2022, there was word that still possible, but highly unlikely. And that's the last update I see here as I'm Googling. March 8th of this year, that says, this is from the Washington Dispatch, they still don't have an actual plan for season 2. That's a shame. That was a good series.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, they got like 100 damn different things coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you
Not
see?
like
I saw this.
Choices.
Well, I saw this thing on the interwebs. It was this graphic of the person standing there and their eyes are like bugging out of their head that they're watching TV. They've watched it forever. And the caption was, people in 10 years watching all 186 other Marvel movies to understand what the new ones are about.
Right. Well, I don't know how we're going to do it, but why not? We're going to transition and move on away from the Flash to another debut, another premiere from this past week, and that's AEW's Collision. CM Punk's officially back. Why don't we start there? Guys, whoever wants to go first, go first. What did you think of his return promo?
No. What did you think? Right?
Okay.
I'm just pawning it off on us.
I know. You're the one that had the most vested interest in this. The rest of us are like, woohoo.
Here's the thing. When it comes to CM Punk, it's what you see is what you get. Except he always seems like he has a plan, and in the back of his mind, while he's holding on to the microphone, he does these little subtle things to try to put some potential hints out there. Like one of the first things he does is when he gets out to the middle of the ring, he says he's tired of being nice, and while he's getting the microphone, he takes the little what do they call it, flag or whatever, takes that off the microphone to distance himself from the AEW name, I guess. And then he proceeds to talk about how he appreciates the fans and he loves them because they love him, and then he starts to really just dive in and make fun of. He says, if you want an apology, then I'm sorry that you're softer than the wrestlers that you're a fan of. Said he's the one true Phil, the truth in a world full of counterfeit bucks. He talks about how he's until somebody can pin him or submit him, that he hasn't lost the AEW title. He comments that he's the one that won the dog collar match between he and MJF. And then he says, for all those that, wanted me to put these boots in the middle of the ring and ride off into the sunset, until somebody can fill those boots, he's not going to do it. So, I mean, he put a lot in a 8-minute promo. It was, I mean, is what you'd expect from a CM Punk, from a work shoot perspective, from all of the rumor and injecture and all that innuendo online, on Twitter, on everywhere else. It seemed to hit all the buttons and hit all the notes for all the fans. I mean, they were definitely, it was a pro-Punk crowd as they were chanting F the Elite during his promo. Now, granted, when he goes to Toronto and when he goes to, all the other places, it'll be interesting because Kenny Omega, of course, is Canadian. So it should be a pretty pro-elite crowd.
Maybe. What else?
Yeah. All you did was give us a recap. You didn't tell us your opinion.
I mean, I feel like what we're seeing here is the introduction of maybe a heel turn for CM Punk, and maybe along the way we see a heel turn of FTR because of the way they're positioning that. I feel like with what the plan appears to be, and it's super early, but what it appears to be is they're already headed towards, Punk and FTR against the Elite. They're already laying the groundwork for that. So that's what I'm guessing. The Elite's going to be positioned as the good guys, and they'll do kind of like they did with the Bucks and Kenny Omega against Death Triangle, and kind of let the fans decide ultimately who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. So I think, in my opinion, I think the segment itself was a home run. What happens in the next 3 months, who knows? But I felt like it did exactly what it's supposed to do. I thought it was pretty good.
So I think they are headed towards CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that probably more than anything is because coincidentally, that day several reports or interviews surfaced. One was CM Punk, where he pretty much lays a lot of things out on the table. And then Nick Jackson, I think, does one. I think there might be a few others. So to me, it's almost like the gloves are off. Let's this is their chance to make history, and let's make history. Mm-hmm. Or not so much history for the wrestling business, but for AEW.
Well, and to make money.
Make a lot of money. So, because again, this has all the hallmarks of an amazing feud, money wise, for AEW if they pull it off.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think that it was the smartest thing they could do to hit it head on. You know what I mean? Like, if they'd have just brought him back, and he'd done one of his little generic promos, and then gone and fought somebody that you got your smarter fans today, like Brian was saying, everybody knows what's going on behind the scenes. Everybody knows why he wasn't there, So for them to come out and just kind of pull that rug and say, "Yep, let's talk about it," without directly talking about it. I thought the promo was decent. I thought it definitely wasn't your. I think they're going for more of a hard edge Punk, for him to come out, and he just showed he's angry. He's like, I never lost. Y'all talk all you want, but until somebody can come step up, which will now also give him series of matches until they put him with the Elite. You know, because how many people in the back would be like, your mid tier would want to come out and say, "Oh yeah," and then that gives the some matches and stuff going on until they're ready for them. So
What did you guys think of the commentary team of Nigel McGuinness and Kevin Kelly?
I I like I thought it was decent. I mean, I don't have that much history listening to Nigel McGuinness, but Kevin Kelly, it was kind of neat to hear his voice again. It was nice to have a totally different commentary team, you know. Which I like the fact that it kind of differentiates the shows even more. Um, Felt sorry for Jim Ross, but he's doing what he needs to do to take care of himself and heal.
Yeah, he had a rough go of it. Of course, I want to say Saturday morning, he tweets out that he had had a fall and he had a huge black eye. He was just in absolutely rough shape. Now, he didn't come out to do commentary until the main event, but boy, I did feel bad for him. He just sounded like he was struggling. So let's see here. Let's kind of run through the results here. Collision. Here we go. So first up, we get Luchasaurus against Wardlow. Now, I would not have pegged the first singles title win to come out of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy to be actually Luchasaurus. I honestly would have thought it would have been Jungle Boy.
Why are you comparing them? They're not even part of a team anymore, though.
Well, it's not really meant to be a comparison. I guess I thought that Jack Perry was going to be a champ before Luchasaurus. Excuse me.
Or did you think Hook would be a champ before Jack Perry? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's crazy talk. Crazy talk. It's apples and oranges.
How long do you think Luchasaurus holds on to the title?
Till TK takes it from him? I like that. You like that?
Until they tell him he's not.
Wow. Okay. Christian does celebrate with the title, acts like he actually won the title instead of Luchasaurus.
And I think that's what's going to be the demise. I think you're going to eventually have Christian versus Luchasaurus, because Luchasaurus is going to be like, I won it, you didn't win it. But I mean, I was surprised that after they put it on Wardlow, for them to take it off of Wardlow so fast. But I mean, it surprised me. I didn't think Luchasaurus would have won. I thought it'd been like, oh, okay. But I agree with Brian. He'll keep it until the booker says he won't.
That's such an astute observation on both of your behalf.
On a day that ends in Y.
Yeah, right. Next up, what I think a lot of people might call match of the night: Andrade versus Buddy Matthews. This one was just tremendous. What did you? Did either one of you expect this match to be as hard hitting?
I'd say no. I mean, I didn't really expect it until they announced it. Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, once they announced it, it's like, oh, this could be interesting. You kind of figured who was going to win right from Jump Street. You knew Andrade wouldn't lose on his return. Mm-hmm. Although I did kind of expect Roosh to show up. But I guess that's a story for another time.
Apparently, Roosh is kind of in the doghouse for being a little rough on some of his opponents.
I don't think so. I think you're reading some bunk report from Meltzer or something.
No, this is coming from. This is actually coming from different wrestlers on Twitter.
Different wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Like who?
Who is the guy? And I should have known you're going to ask me that. I don't have his name here. Give me a second.
We're supposed to be professionals.
Does it sound like Ave Eltzer?
Here we go. AAA fires Roosh for taking liberties with Jungle Boy. This was, what's the date on this one? Damn, I just had this up. One moment. Here it is. This was from June 10th.
And when did them two fight? Wasn't it like months ago?
A couple weeks ago. Wasn't too long ago, but it was maybe end of May.
What's the day? No, it's longer than that. Because that was when Jungle Boy got his ass whooped.
Right.
Straight mauled.
Was definitely before Double or Nothing. One sec. Let's see here. May 18th.
Yeah, bro, I'm not buying none of that.
I mean, Roosh is just a hard-hitting performer. Everything I saw of that match, yeah, it was hard. I mean, he did beat the snot out of Jungle Boy. I don't know if I would call it taking liberties, but he definitely beat the snot out of him.
So, I think it was Conan that kind of put it best. That little roll-up at the end, either Roosh was taking liberties or it was designed that way to give Jungle Boy that type of crazy win prior to, the match, almost making him look more vulnerable than the other guys.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm not there, but I really don't see, especially with Roosh being the way he is, I really don't see them being like, oh my God, you took liberties with this guy. Because I mean, even Conan, and then Conan have something to do with AAA.
Oh yeah. He's one of the guys. I wouldn't say in charge, but he's one of their agents, producers, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just recently, last week, Conan was talking about it. It was like, look, it's either designed that way because of the roll up, or Jungle Boy should have maybe fought back a little bit and didn't expect it, which would mean Jungle Boy's not ready. It's not Roosh's fault that he's like that.
I feel like Roosh is just a hard-hitting wrestler. I don't know if I'd say he took liberties or not. Now, I will say that with his match...
But you did say it.
Because what I said was other people had said it. I didn't say I had.
But you repeated.
You said it.
Okay.
See?
Sure.
You said you broke the story.
You're wrong, but it's okay. Nobody's going to judge you for being wrong. I might make fun of you, but
well, we feel like you're judging us.
I am, harshly, but only because you're wrong.
Well, we don't think we're wrong.
Of course not. Where would be the fun in that? Let's see. Speaking of physical matchups, well, at least one-sided, Miro and Tony Nese. Miro's back. The Redeemer is here, and he just absolutely smashes Tony Nese. And I think it was less than 3 minutes.
So glad Tony Nese decided to get a contract where he's going to get for better storylines.
Well, maybe with Collision, we can see more of Tony Nese getting squashed by different people.
But I mean, isn't that what he was kind of doing in WWE?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same role. He's not really. There's not really been much of a change. He had a bit of a part to play in Ring of Honor and then in Dark and Elevation, but he hasn't really come out of that.
Well, to me, he doesn't have a character that's like, ooh. He just kind of blends in with the crowd.
Yeah, he's part of the varsity athletes, whatever the hell that's supposed to be.
Well, I mean, I think if you put him in the right group, you could probably do things with him. Because you could easily put him in the Bullet or BCC as far as like technical wrestling, and he'd be okay.
Yeah, I mean you could have him team with Wheeler Yuta.
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting. Let's see, Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale against Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. I mean it was a women's tag match.
And then congratulations to Sky Blue getting engaged. I don't know who.
One half of the Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher.
So you're not a fan of women's wrestling?
I am a fan of women's wrestling, but this is.
I think I heard some hatred in that voice.
Right, I think I heard a little sexist remark in that one.
Damn. I don't know.
I wouldn't go hatred, but it almost sounded a little sexist.
Wow.
Like degrading.
Yeah, that might be it, Rob.
Damn.
I mean, I thought anybody who cheered on Shayna Baszler would have better morals than this.
Whoa. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale get the victory after a code blue from Sky Blue. Sky Blue's mom was in the crowd. She was in the front row. A hometown girl gets the win. I think it's the story out of this. It's not meant to really take anything away from the Outcasts or anything like that. We haven't really seen an official end to that storyline, so I don't know how that one's going to play out. We've probably got another few months of that feud between the AEW originals against the Outcasts.
I mean, like Britt Baker.
Yeah. I think it's Britt, Sheeta, Riho, Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue against the Outcasts. Seems a little bit of out of balance, if you ask me.
I mean, again, though, who knows what would have happened had somebody not hurt her ankle.
Right. And Jamie Hayter didn't hurt her arm.
Yeah. Because that easily could have been a Forbidden Door match. If Mercedes hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, there was apparently there were conversations between Tony Khan and Mercedes beforehand. Nothing confirmed as far as possibilities or options, but pretty strong conversations towards Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been a nice little, you could have done an 8-man tag or whatever. And put it on the pre-show.
For the first time in what seems like forever, Tony Schiavone finally goes an entire interview segment. It's from start to finish with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, also known as Daddy Ass.
I honestly think that is the first one he's completed.
Most times he just walks away. Like, he doesn't even get pushed away anymore. Like, remember when Adam Cole first came, and they kind of, like, would shove him out of the way, tell him to shut up, and then, of course, you got Jade Cargill, who was like, cut the shit, Tony. And he would just walk away. Now he's kind of standing his ground. I wonder if he's going to end up finally fighting back against one of these bullies one time.
Didn't he do that with this? Who was in the audience? The Sun?
Yeah, I don't remember his son's first name.
That went nowhere fast.
Well, yeah. That was Paul White and his son tagged up against was it the Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison and Pillman Jr.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Throwback to the Daly's Place days.
Yeah, I think that's probably his first one that he's actually finished.
Chicago got its first ever four-corner scissoring.
Tony, we're going to need you to go out there and scissor.
Oh, he's probably all about it. Okay, sure. Let's do it. I'm just glad to see him having fun, man.
Yeah, we missed him. We missed him. Now we just need a few more to return, and all will be right with the wrestling world.
Like who? Who else needs to come back?
I'm down from Cornette.
I think that could easily happen. I think as we've seen so many things change just overall, I think we could easily see him there. There was a part of me that for a long time just didn't think it would ever happen, but here lately I'm just starting to think that anything is possible again.
Yeah. I like Cornette. He's a good manager.
Yeah, there's sometimes you listen to his podcast, you got to get through the first 30 minutes before he even gets to the topic that you're expecting, you know?
Well, here in the next week or two, we're going to be talking about Dark Side of the Ring, the Magnum TA episode. And I found, Jim Cornette's contribution, I couldn't find the right word, to those episodes here, especially this season, has just been really on point. And I feel like it's something that gets lost within all of the all the diatribe. Like you said, got to get through like the first 30 minutes of his podcast just to get to kind of the meat and potatoes. But once you get past all that, it's taken for granted just how much that guy has been through, how much he's seen, and how much he knows about wrestling.
Well, I think a lot of people are using his polarizing attitudes towards, he's not shy about his love towards Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. And I think it's that kind of comments that has polarized him to half the wrestling population. And there's wrestling fans that just can't see past what it is, and when you look at it, like you said, that man has forgotten more about the wrestling history than we will ever know.
Right.
I mean, he might not have been in charge of the book, but that man was in the room for most of wrestling history. WCW, NWA, WWE, like ECW, like Smoky Mountain, like he was in the room. And we have him to thank for saving a lot of stuff because of his collecting and stuff. And so I think there's the newer age fans see the smoke and mirrors of Jim Cornette and are turned off and are like, whatever, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But if you go past that and you listen to him, like some of his podcasts, like I've listened to, where he can pull out a book of a certain year. Mm-hmm. And he can tell you exactly where he and the Midnight Express were, what they made, what town it was, and where they went next. That's the kind of shit the man knows.
Yeah. I mean, that's entirely the reason I bought his book, was when we met him, in Charlotte, and he was just talking to us. He wasn't trying to sell us anything. He was just talking to us about wrestling, just shooting the shit. And after a while, I'm just like, I got to buy something from him now. I mean, this guy's just been so cool. Turns out that the book itself is just absolutely phenomenal. Big shock, right? Historian like Jim Cornette has an awesome book. What do you know? But yeah, I mean, it was one of those moments where you're like, damn, this is the genuine article.
I'm still pissed you got the book I wanted. Because I wanted to buy that book, and then I'm like, well, I can't buy the same book you did, because what's the point? So I bought the one, like...
autographs?
What?
When you realize there's millions of people that buy the same book, right?
I know. I got it autographed anyway. I bought the one that's, like, it came with a DVD.
Yeah, but it would have been all right if you had bought the book.
I know. Dan doesn't share anyway.
Oh my God, did you know what Rob did today? He bought the same book Stan did. That boy ain't got no manners.
What the hell? Who are you trying to impersonate?
Well, my plan was to just borrow the book and read it, but...
Oh, I mean,
alas.
I can get to it pretty easily. Next time I see you, I'll bring it over.
That's right. You will.
Keeping up with that attitude, and I won't do it.
Just remember, you look on your bookshelf, and you got a blue book on your bookshelf, right?
Blue book.
This ought to be good. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I got no idea where he's going. I'll bite. What blue book, Rob?
The Young Bucks.
Oh, the Young Bucks book, yeah.
Oh, so he's going to throw a Christmas gift in your face.
That's a pretty effective use of of a book, sir.
Wow.
That is a really good book, by the way. The Young Bucks book. Killing the business. So let's see here. Back into the main event of Collision. CMFTR against Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe. First off, the crowd was solidly behind FTR and CM Punk. As a matter of fact, chanting CMFTR.
I would have. That might have been one of the loudest crowds I've heard on TV. Yeah. Like they were in it.
Yeah, this was a hot crowd pretty much from start to finish. I don't think they ever really calmed down until maybe the night was done. It's a shame that they're going to be taping some of these collisions as they go forward because the live crowd, man, just gives something different.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's going to be times where they're preempted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless, what were the ratings? Do we know the ratings yet?
I will pull that while we're talking. Ratings for Collision. Ratings for Collision. Let's see here. Let's try viewership numbers. There we go.
Cagematch.de.
Let's see. Collision. Come on, damn it. Where the hell are the numbers? I got Dynamite. I got Rampage. Debut rating. Here we go. Damn. These are all people predicting it. Maybe it's not out yet.
It's got to be out.
Let's see. Let's go to WrestleNomics. See what they say.
Just type in AEW Collision ratings. See what happens.
According to WrestleNomics, which is a pretty good go-to for ratings for TV shows and all sorts of different analytics, rating for Collision should be out tomorrow. Nielsen ratings were delayed by the Juneteenth holiday.
So what the fuck did they do all day today?
I don't know. Go call the Nielsen's and ask them.
You know how it is when these kind of tech people come back from break. They stand around and talk about the break. Then the computers have to update, and it's time to go home.
Yeah, it's just a waste of a day. I can tell you that if the YouTube numbers are anything close to how well received Collision was, just CM Punk's promo, that first 10 minutes of Collision, it had only been up for 5 hours and it had 1.2 million views. So for a lot of people that say CM Punk doesn't draw ratings, blah, 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 well, 1.2 million people might disagree with you. That's a lot of damn people.
Well, as I said, there are people out there, you can tell them the sun's going to shine tomorrow, and they're like, that's bullshit. Why? So
the match itself, Punk really takes a beating from Samoa Joe. FTR and Bullet Club Gold have good interaction between them. I definitely would like to see Jay White and Juice Robinson against FTR for the titles. I think that would be awesome. And I sure as hell wouldn't mind seeing Samoa Joe and CM Punk again.
I think you'll probably get something like that.
I mean, who better to answer the call?
Right.
You know? Oh, well, there ain't nobody to step up. Excuse me?
One of the primary rumored complaints was Punk was complaining that Page was chopping him in the face on purpose. So what did Samoa Joe do during this match? Probably part of the plan. Punch CM Punk directly in the face at least 3 or 4 times and chop him in the throat a couple of times. There were some heavy shots getting thrown in this match.
On them damn chops, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, those were echoing. You know it's a loud chop where it's not just ringing through the crowd, but it's echoing in your TV. Damn.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Punk didn't look like he had lost a step.
He's been off for like 6 months, a year, 2 years,
10 months,
5.
Yeah. Well, you've heard my thoughts. What did you guys think of it?
And we want to hear yours more.
you always hear mine.
What are we talking about?
Ouch.
We do not always hear yours.
You always hear mine.
No,
not all the time.
Most
really?
of the time, you're like, what do you guys think of this?
You get our side, and then you say some like sentence of like, yeah, I thought it was really good. Boom, got him.
A lot of times when we do that, it's because we've got so much ground to cover, like especially with an AEW pay-per-view, because there's 25 matches and we're only at match 2. I'm trying to get through it.
It's not about us.
It's about everybody. It's a team, Rob. It's a team. All right, so overall for Collision, we're just doing all kinds of shitty transitions. What the hell? Overall for Collision,
these pauses you like.
The big rumored was it was going to be a brand split. Tony Khan states now that that's not the direction he's heading. He may do it in the future, but not now. The other rumor that was coming in was they wanted to make sure that the show had a completely different look and feel from anything else in AEW. I think they absolutely accomplished that. This was a hell of a debut for a new program. What they do going forward, I mean, the next few weeks is taped programs in Canada. They're taping them on Thursdays, so it's only a day or two ahead of the Saturday airtime. Hopefully we don't get the same kind of thing we got with Rampage after a while, where it was just matches that people weren't exactly as excited about as they would have been for Dynamite. But this was a hell of a first run. I really think that Collision could be one of those real game changers for AEW if they just keep up on this pace. But that's the question. I mean, that's hard to book at this solid of a pace repeatedly every single week.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done.
This one imposes again, Brian.
Yeah, I know.
I honestly
he
thought
ends
somebody
a
was going to be
phrase
like,
instead of
"You're
asking
full
a
of shit,
question.
Stan," or "You're absolutely right." I honestly figured somebody was going to say something.
Can you do us a favor?
No favors.
When you're done your little diatribe, you're like, okay, I want somebody else to talk. Be like, done or something. You know what I'm saying? Be like,
and scene. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah,
there
you go.
From now on, I'll just do that. You got it. I'll cue you. Okay, Brian, it's your turn.
No, don't cue us because it could be, maybe
it could be anybody. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
From now on, all right. And scene. There you go.
And that still was bad.
All right, well, that'll do it for us here. If it wasn't awkward, it wouldn't be fun.
Oh, so it's awkward to just hang out and talk?
No, the awkward silences is what's fun.
No, we got it.
Are you saying it's awkward for us? Is that what you're saying?
No,
you don't trust
us
enough to be comfortable?
Is it as awkward for you as it is for me right now?
Hang out and talk to us. Oh, that's all right. So what else you got there, Stan? What else you got on the CM Punk front?
There isn't a whole lot. Apparently, his promo was pretty well received backstage. Nobody really had major complaints or anything. One thing I read that was interesting was that out of everybody that signed NDAs for the situation, for Brawl Out, CM Punk and Adam Page did not.
Well, why would Adam Page have?
Well, to my knowledge, Page didn't have anything to do with it outside of the comment Punk made about him during the scrum. So I wouldn't guess he'd have to unless maybe he was told something by the Bucks or Omega. And then as far as Punk, it actually does surprise me that he didn't sign one because he was neck deep in it.
I don't know, man. I would imagine that the ones involved all signed one. I mean, because if you don't, you know what I'm saying? You're going to find the president of the company paid your text or something.
Ace Steel, nowhere to be found. Not backstage in any shows, will not be coming back most likely.
No, he already said he's back. It's just he's doing it from home.
That's what happens when you bite somebody.
Hey, you shouldn't have put his arm in his mouth. Hey, you don't want me to bite you, don't put it in my mouth.
I swear to God, there's got to be a sign just once for me. Just one time. Ace bit a guy.
They need a T-shirt. Is what they need.
It's a real shame they don't have a connection with a T-shirt company.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. The Bucks did comment on the Counterfeit Bucks line on Twitter. They changed their profile. Said if this was 2018, we'd have already been in contact with Pro Wrestling Tees and had a T-shirt made.
So why not still get it done?
I would. I mean, it's not. They're clearly okay with it and laughing at it. Why not?
Yeah. What the Bucks need to come out with the Ace Bit a Guy T-shirt and beat everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, maybe the NDA.
just
maybe
have a
the
picture
shirt
of Ace
says,
Steel with an arm in his mouth.
Maybe the shirt says, Ace did something, but we're not allowed to talk about it.
Or make a shirt that's called NDA.
Yeah, that shirt wouldn't sell, Rob.
I didn't say they were all with it.
You just got to say Ace Bit a Guy and just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Ace may or may not have bit a guy.
Yeah, it's still not working. This is a valiant try, though, Rob. It's a good try.
Hey, I tried.
It's a good try.
There's a reason I don't work for Pro Wrestling Tees.
I'm shocked Pro Wrestling Tees hasn't done it. I would have done it. I'd have been like, an Ace Bit.
Honestly, you'd think that Ace Steel would do it. He's not on TV.
I'm sure he is definitely NDA. But yeah, I think the report came out a couple weeks ago that he's back. It's just he right now is not in the office.
Eventually, I'm sure it'll blow over and he'll get back in the backstage area doing stuff. It'll all be gone. It'll just be a memory of, man, remember that crazy ass brawl out thing?
It's definitely a Dark Side of the Ring episode somewhere along the way.
And then the chair went flying.
Yeah, that's fun. What is your face?
Oh, there is some news that came out today. AEW's releasing a new mobile game called Figure Fighters. It'll be free to play, but it's apparently based off of their action figures.
QR code. I don't like.
I did sign up for their pre-registration. Of course, it's not scheduled to come out until next year. If it's anything like Fight Forever, it'll be 2025.
How long do you think it normally takes for a video game to be created?
I got no idea. I mean, it depends on what they're doing and how much they're doing. Like what are the ratings on the game? Like AAA games, isn't that what they're called? Like the big Elden Ring and that sort of stuff. That one was in production for what, 8 years, 9 years?
Yeah, there were some that are in production longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, so I know that some of them can take it what seems like an eternity, and others take a year. Like 2K is every year, but they're just rehashing the same engine, fine-tuning it, adding people, subtracting people. So it's not. I don't know if that really counts because it's not really development per se. It's more like revision, kind of like Madden.
I mean, they could have literally been like, yeah, we're going to put this game out in 5 years. And people would have been like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's about right. That's how long a video game takes to make some of them.
And people would still be going, why does it take, when's it coming out?
Yeah, when's
They
it coming
told
out?
you.
You lied. It's not coming out in 5 years. Now it's 6. What the hell?
It's like when they're like, what WrestleMania is this? They literally call it WrestleMania 39. You know, like,
I'm confused. I don't know which one it is.
how many WrestleManias have there been?
Fight Forever scheduled to come out on the 29th. Pre-orders, if you get it through Sony digitally or Xbox digitally, or I don't know if Steam has it for the Elite Edition, but the Elite Edition is the game itself, Matt Hardy, Broken Matt Hardy, and then it's got all kinds of DLC. So FTR, Danhausen and Hook, Keith Lee, new mini games. I'm interested to see what these mini games are all about. There's one that looks like it's almost like a home run derby. There's another one that I don't. One of them's like a smashing of a car, is what I read. I have not seen any screenshots.
Like they're actually on a baseball diamond.
So it looks like they're actually in Stadium Stampede, is from the screenshots I've seen, and they're just on a field hitting a ball as far as they can, and it's always towards like a banner of AEW Dynamite is the screenshots that I've seen.
Okay. Loaded with shit to do.
Yeah. That's all I had for this week.
Well, perfect timing.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. Brian, you've got Fight Forever pre-ordered. Did you do the Elite Edition?
Yes. I mean, why? I had to.
Rob, are you going to partake in Fight Forever?
Oh, now watch you all play it.
Okay.
I don't have a system.
There's no system in your house.
Not that I play.
None whatsoever.
Well, I mean, I think all the kids have their own Xboxes, so
You can't pie face one of them.
It's Daddy's turn now.
Yeah, get off.
Put the Roblox away. I'm playing AEW.
I'm unloading all your games so I can put AEW on here. I still get chills when I talk about that because, like, I did that to my dad with Zelda Link. And he's, I think, he was mad for years. Come home, he'd beat the game twice. So he had two characters, and I wanted to save a character, so I deleted one of them.
Oh, no.
Whoops. It's a damn miracle I'm still alive.
Really is. That beating the first Zelda took forever.
Now, totally off of video games. Did you all watch any of Hidden Treasures the last couple weeks?
What was
it? The Roddy Piper one?
Oh, he's talking about the what is it? A&E, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, the WWE Hidden Treasures show where they're trying to reclaim different memorabilia and everything.
I know what the show is, but I didn't what Rob said.
Oh.
That's why I was like, watch what? Okay. I couldn't hear him.
No, it was just they were looking for like his leather jackets, and then I like how they just randomly are like, oh, let's go to this house, and it's Teal Piper. And she's like, you looking for Piper stuff? And she just keeps bringing out iconic things. I'm like, dang. Any of your other brothers and sisters get anything? And where did we meet her husband, Demos?
He worked for UCW.
Okay.
I think he did 2 shows for us. Maybe more.
Yeah, because that's who he was going to bring in.
I think it was only the one, wasn't it? Wasn't it Sterling?
Wasn't he bringing him in and going to put the belt on him or something?
There was talk about that, yeah. And I don't remember what. Maybe he got hurt. No, he didn't get hurt. He got his deal with Impact.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He's been wrestling on Ring of Honor too. That's something I hope I get a chance to see some more of is Ring of Honor. I want to start watching more of that because every review I've read of it has been that it's pretty good stuff. Just got to subscribe to the Honor Club.
Only you can subscribe to the Honor Club. You can do it.
I'll give you my password.
No, you already hooked me up with one. I need to step in and take on one for myself. Can't keep leeching off Brian.
Yeah, you
Not
can.
fair. I mean, I could, but
how many years did we leech off WCW pay-per-views? Come on, man.
What do you mean WCW?
I was going to say WWF, WCW,
AEW.
ECW. Didn't you order a few of those?
A couple of them. Yeah.
Then there's the what was the one in Australia? WWA.
What was the one where? What was the one that was like Legends and Tully Blanchard got hit in the head and was bleeding in the parking lot?
Oh, Heroes of Wrestling. Yeah. That was one of those notoriously bad shows.
Forget the buy rate, but the buy rate was so damn small. We had to have been one of select few in the country that ever saw it.
It's funny because there's so many different reviews of it, but I remember that being an actual conversation. Like only 10,000 people bought it?
I don't know. It's on that one Dark Side of the Ring. They mentioned it. I think. Because I think that was the one. Isn't that the one where, what's his name put it on? God bless the guy from New York that was drunk and high all the time.
I mean, that could be a lot of people. The guy from New York.
Last season. I mean,
Hang on. Now you
they
got me
just
looking
did
it
it
up.
last year or last season.
Let's see here. I'm just scrolling through the different ones. I want to say that the Jake Roberts episode had some of that in there.
No, they're talking about the actual guy. Put it on. It was a guy that had the cocaine problem and was doing all types of dumb shit.
Oh, Herb Abrams.
Yeah, isn't he the guy that put it on?
No, he didn't. Wasn't he dead?
Because I think we watched that one too.
Now, I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the UWF. I don't remember watching it, but
We were all there.
we've seen some pretty bad pay-per-views. Let's see, season 2. I'm just looking at the episode list. Cocaine and cowboy boots, the Herb Abrams story.
Yeah, I think that one, the one that was in that one they talk about. It was so bad that only like people, not many people in the country watched it.
Yeah, that was man. They had Yokozuna on that one. They had a way out of shape, overweight Jake Roberts. Rob mentioned Tully Blanchard. Wasn't part of that filmed in black and white too?
I don't remember that. I just remember watching some abysmal pay-per-view.
I think it was filmed with a hand cam, steady cam, and a video camera.
That wouldn't surprise me. Do we want to do Magnum TA next week, or do you want to wait until the week after?
Dude, we're so far away from that. Do it now. I mean, you hit a telephone pole, and he's recovered enough to be back in the limelight. Ian.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. There's the Magnum TA story. Oh, we're gonna get so much.
I mean, you're just like obsessed with it.
It was your idea.
Who?
You.
When?
Last week, you're like, we need to do a whole episode on Magnum TA's episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Who said that?
You did.
Why would I say that? That makes no sense.
I have no idea. It was your idea. You didn't want to talk about the Chris and Tammy one, the Chris Candido episode.
No, to review them, not because like we've done the other seasons, not sit there and invest one whole episode on Magnum TA. You took that ball and ran.
I'm gonna find that soundbite. I'm gonna find. This week we got Matt Bourne, Doink the Clown. That one should be a good one.
That's on now, isn't it?
Shit, yeah, it's on tonight. Damn. Cool, I'll catch the replay. That'll be Hold on. Vice TV. Good old talking to the mic remotes. Oh yeah, replay just started. Sweet. Very cool. Well, I guess that's going to do it for us here on old C2C Radio.
Now that he's something to watch, he's like, bye.
We got Forbidden Door coming up next weekend, not this weekend, but the weekend after. So we'll do our predictions for Forbidden Door. We should have a majority of the card announced, I would say, probably this week. By the end of this week, we'll have a lot more on the card. Although it sure seems like right now we've only got 2, maybe 3 matches confirmed. So we'll find out more about that. We've got Money in the Bank. We could do predictions for that if you want. And that's kind of what's coming down the pike in recent. And then, of course, we'll talk about Fight Forever the following week. We'll talk about that game. If there's online gameplay, we might even try to put together a video with me and Brian. See who's truly better.
Brian.
See, just immediately to jump to that. I mean, you can't even give me a fighting chance. Catch up with Rob on Twitter at RobHeffnerC2C. Catch up with Brian at Vlad Dragul C2C. That's VLAD C2C. And you can catch up with me at Stan Grubb C2C. Yes, I did officially make that change. And, of course, C2C Radio Show for the show. C2CRadioshow.com, Spreaker.com/corner to corner, and all of your favorite podcast distribution points. Have a great week, everybody. We will see you next time. Have a great night.